Okay, we back at it. Let's get to it. So I'm very excited about this fight tomorrow night. You guys already know if you've been watching. I love Kevin Holland. He's the man. He's my favorite fighter at the moment. And honestly, as long as he don't change up, that ain't gonna change right there because I like his style. I like his persona, his charisma. I mean, the dude, just like I said, he seems just so transparent of a person, like a real guy. He just seems like a real guy that, even if he wasn't a fighter, I would just like to chill with, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm I'm riding with Kevin Holland tomorrow night. I think this is gonna be a great matchup, but looking also at the fact that Kevin Holland beat Jacare, and Jacare beat Brunson twice already. Finished him, pause. But I think that's interesting. Now, again, rock, paper, scissors, so that doesn't necessarily say anything. Um, well, it doesn't say everything. It does say something, but it doesn't say everything that, oh, that means he's going to beat Brunson. No, not necessarily at all. I think he has a lot of different challenges to face in this matchup than he did in the Jacare fight. However, Kevin Holland, he's on the rise. And honestly, he's a guy, win, lose, or draw, which I honestly, right now, the only other guy that in recent time that I can think of who was like that for a while was Jorge Masvidal. But I think after he loses his next fight with Usman, there's a possibility for his stock to drop if he doesn't take the Kobe Covington fight because that is something that I think a lot of fans want to see, and there's there's just it just makes so much sense that if he does not take this Kobe fight, where where does the interest level for me it drops. I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, if Jorge doesn't fight Kobe, I don't really care too much to see him fight if he's not gonna fight Kobe because again, I think uh I think Usman wins that fight 10 times out of 10, 100 times out of 100 versus Jorge. Not saying that Jorge isn't good. I just don't think Usman is a good matchup for him. I think it's a bad matchup for him. I do. I like the matchup with him and Kobe again, mainly because of the rivalry. But I still would pick Kobe to win that fight. But back to Brunson and Holland. Brunson is going, in my opinion, he's going to try to mix it up a little bit more than he is known to do, which I believe will be a benefit for him. And I think moving forward, he should do that. Not get away from the wrestling because that's what is his bread and butter. And I believe he should stick to his bread and butter while throwing in some overhands. He does get in those points where he will brawl with you. Derrick Brunson will brawl. But if he gets hurt, a lot of the times he'll just put his head down and just go straight in for the takedown. And he'll just rush in for the takedown, rush in for the takedown, which you can pick that off. And guys like you see Derrick Lewis, he just caught Curtis Blaze. He just caught Curtis Blaze with that uppercut because he was rushing in. You know, guys like Israel Adesanya, they can catch you. Guys like Kevin Holland, they can catch you when you're rushing in like that. So as long as he doesn't get sloppy, I think this fight can go the distance. And Derrick Brunson obviously has a chance to win. He could knock Kevin Holland out, especially if he stays composed the whole time and mixes it up. Yeah, that could happen. But I don't want to see that happen. And I'm like I said, I'm rocking with Kevin Holland. I'm rocking with Kevin Holland, and I think his keys to victory are really to keep the fight on the feet, and if it does go to the ground, make sure that he is posing a threat of a submission. Every time it hits the ground, he needs to have a submission threaten a submission. That way, Derek will have to think about, you know, if he wants to be on the ground with him and how much time he actually wants to be down there, before he takes him down. And also, I think like I said, Kevin Holland, he can do, he's proven that he can do well on his back, pause, but he's proven that. And so I'm not so concerned about that, but I would like to see him more of this fight standing up and staying on the outside and using some of his explosiveness and some of his tricky striking, because he does have some tricky striking. I don't know if people have been catching on to that yet. Well, I'm sure you have. But Kevin Holland has some very, very tricky striking. And if he can keep not rely on those tricky strikes, but if he can keep those in the mix of his combinations, okay? If he can throw in one of those tricky spinning back kicks and the side kicks and the spin jumping flying knees. When he flying knees, he really fly in knees. Okay, he gets up. So like throw in some of that. Just keep Brunson on his toes. Keep him guessing. So I think if he does that, then we're gonna see 6 in a row for Kevin Holland. So again, I'm actually gonna do another video about Kevin Holland because I didn't really like the sound quality of that last one. And whenever I redo that next video on Kevin Holland, I'll delete the first one that I did on him. But yeah, that's my predictions for tomorrow's UFC. It's gonna be in Vegas, I believe, or Texas. No, it's gonna be in Texas. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm definitely looking forward to this. So, you guys let me know what you think. If you got Brunson, tell me why you got Brunson. If you got Holland, tell me why you got Holland. Again, Brunson is the type of fighter where if they're saying he's a gatekeeper, I, if that's the term you want to use, but a gatekeeper is usually two impressive wins away from a title shot themselves. Let's not forget what a gatekeeper is. A gatekeeper is a guy who's on the cusp but has not been able to get over that last hump before they can, be in title contention. Derrick Brunson is, again, if he wins this fight in you know dominates this fight or just wins in good fashion, good enough fashion for the fans to be like, wow, catch some eyes. And then let's say you put him in there with the winner of the Gastelum Whitaker fight or the winner of the um well, if Darren Till wins, Israel's gonna fight Darren Till. I already know that. However, Vittori versus Brunson, that works. He can, if he does that. There's a couple, again. If he wins 2 to 3 fights, he's right back in title contention, or he's right in title contention. That's what gatekeeper pretty much means. Somebody who's right outside title contention. So it's not that big of an insult as people try to make it seem. But nonetheless, if that's the term we're going on, okay, that's fine. But I wouldn't really call him a gatekeeper. Um, but that is the term that's being used, so that's what we'll call it. If you guys can think of a better term that doesn't sound, I mean, gatekeeper just has a bad stigma to it. It just has a bad connotation. So if you guys got a better word than that, please drop it in the comment. But for now, it's MMA House on MMA Block, and we sitting in the middle of MMAville. We keep it real.